Welcome to the Intuitive Hour with psychic medium, author, and intuitive life coach, Michelle Beltran. The Intuitive Hour will empower you to learn how to magnify your intuitive voice. Listen in and expand your understanding of what it means to be psychic and how to awaken, amplify, and trust your inner voice.
Hello there and welcome. This is the Intuitive Hour, Awaken Your Inner Voice, and I'm your host, Michelle Beltran. Today we're discussing indigo children. And I want to start with what exactly indigo children are and how we can better understand them. Essentially, an indigo child is one who expresses a new and rather unusual set of behavioral and psychological traits not typically seen before. Indigo children are a very special group that began being born around 1978. They were named indigo due to the deep blue or violet color of their auras, which actually indicates a strong spiritual awareness. These children were born more highly evolved than most and have a clear access to their right brain intuitive abilities. As children, indigos know how special they are and they expect to be respected. They're nonconformists and very wise beyond their years. They understand the importance of their uniqueness and they don't understand why adults don't value that. They typically have a very high self-esteem and they're often very confident. Indigos will buck the system or any authority that refuses to give them choice. The old system of do as I say, without reasons given as to why they should follow a rule, never works for them. Indigos are creative, insightful people and children, and if the way it's always been doesn't seem right to them, you can expect they'll challenge that system and try to rework it. Socially, they feel best when among other indigos and otherwise feel lost or isolated. I would ask you to take a few moments and ask yourself, does this sound like your child? Or does this sound like you as a child? Common traits of the indigo include an expression or sense of royalty and a deep understanding that it's their deserving birthright to be here on this planet. There's a strong desire to be spoken with, not at. Indigos prefer eye contact when communicating. Again, is this you or your child? Indigos must have freedom of choice in everything, even in their own discipline or disciplining. It's essential to explain things to the indigo. Because I said so does not work for this child. They're intolerant to uniformity, rules, or rigid processes. And they will absolutely challenge authoritative styles of processing and interacting. An indigo might actually seem antisocial unless they're in a comfort zone with like-minded individuals. They will be expectant of honesty, and they will be highly vocal and expressive. Finally, an indigo must be heard and not just listened to. So these children have a very high self-worth and at times can be challenging to teach. So how do you go about teaching this evolved child? A teacher-based structure, as in many mainstream classrooms, is too authoritative for the indigo. This structure doesn't allow for freedom of choice and respect of personal autonomy. So here's what a teacher or even a parent of an indigo should know. The indigo has a short attention span and gets bored very quickly and has very high, almost excessive energy levels. There can be an inclination to quit or give up if they feel they have failed in some way. You might notice that frustration sets in at times, and this is usually when they can't see the way to manifest their usually awesome and amazing ideas. The indigo has a preference toward particular ways of learning, especially in subjects like math. These students are highly creative and do best in environments that are more investigative and exploratory, wherein they can create and learn as they go. So when teaching the indigo, it's essential to honor that the student is the center, not the system. The curriculum should be flexible, and the students need choice regarding how and at what pace the lessons are presented. Collectively, teacher and student should establish the learning standards in classroom organization and structure. Indigo children do best with dignity, safety, respect, and a safe place to belong. Ask yourself, do you know what's happening in your child's educational or learning environment? So here's what parents and teachers of indigos can do. Make them your partner in raising them in this world. No matter what their age, even as infants, explain everything you're doing, even if you think they don't understand. They do. Indigos need an answer to the why of things, so be willing to explain the why and how of your choices for them. With an indigo, give them choice, and more choice. Keep your word. Don't react or give orders. Talk situations over and use timeouts if you've disciplined them. Be a model and show them stability, calm, and fairness in your own adult way of being. Give them praise and understand that belittling them is disastrous. And above all, treat them with respect. Honor their soul as the autonomous and capable human beings that they are. I'd like to close today's episode with a few words on indigo children and learning disabilities. Many indigo and gifted children are falsely labeled with learning disabilities or ADHD. They're quickly treated with medications as there's a sense of not knowing what else to do about the child's hyperactivity, seeming low performance at school, or in some occasions out of control behavior. If this sounds like your situation, consider seeking out a formal testing through the counselors and psychologists at your child's school. I'll also ask you in our final moments today to consider whether or not you were an indigo child. Does a friend or family member have an indigo child? Keep in mind that most indigo parents were actually indigo children themselves. To further your learning of indigo children, how to be and interact with them, how to raise them, please take a look at the book Indigo Children by Lee Carroll, Carroll. With that, we will bring our episode today to a close. I look forward to seeing you right here next week on the Intuitive Hour, Awaken Your Inner Voice.
Thanks for listening to the Intuitive Hour with Michelle Beltran. If you like what you heard, Please share our podcast with a friend, and be sure to visit michellebeltran.com to get Michelle's popular Develop Your Clairvoyance ebook.